Well, I'm here with one of my favorite people, Erika Overturff. She's the artistic director and CEO of American Midwest Ballet, and also entering into one of my favorite times of year. And this has to be probably my absolute favorite performance. So, Erika, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And of course, we're talking about the Nutcracker. Um, I think that is just a tradition that so many people um, enjoy. And let's talk a little bit about, um, you know, let's talk a little bit about what that means, and we'll get into the performances. So take it away.
Thank you. Well, the Nutcracker is just such an iconic ballet. It's one that everyone usually recognizes the music. It's set to a beautiful score by Tchaikovsky, and it has many roles for young dancers as well as challenging and beautiful dancing for the professional dancers. So I think that's part of the special thing about it is that you get to see performers of all ages up on the stage helping tell the story, and it just makes it so charming.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the performance in itself, because you have the professional dancers and then you say the young dancers. So how does, let's talk about those two different um, groups. So the young dancers, let's, yeah, talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. So we have our professional company. They are working with us every day. That's their job. They come from all over the country and abroad and audition for jobs to dance with the company. And so they perform in all of our shows, of course. And then for performances like the Nutcracker, we hold community auditions.
Okay.
So we invite dancers from all over the community, whether they train at our school or any school in the area, to come and audition for a role. And they just do such a wonderful job, like just to see them learn new skills, work together to grow as young performers. And I think it's something that they will always remember. And yeah, it's just really neat to see those dancers get a mentorship opportunity alongside the professionals.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't imagine how exciting that, would be for a young dancer. And again, I used to take many ballet lessons and tap lessons. And I also remember as a very young child going to the Nutcracker and seeing it at the Orpheum, which I know is one of the venues that this will be, the Nutcracker will be performing at. But I just, yeah, that's what an experience, and for these young dancers to be able to take that away with them. So
And we do many school shows as well as lots of families come to the public shows. And I think it is especially fun for the students to see other kids up on stage
yeah,
as well. They love seeing the kids, they love the dog, and they love bourrées, which I know since you studied dance, it's when, ballerinas are up on the very tip of their toe, kind of
yes,
floating around, staying up on point, which not to say it doesn't take training, but it's not the hardest step that we do. But it is fun when we do that. And those young audiences, those school audience are just, they love that particular moment. So we always enjoy things like that when we're performing. And for the Nutcracker, that's the largest student audience we reach. Usually over 6,000 students come to the Orpheum every year. And a lot of
yeah.
them, that's their first time coming to the theaters, their first ballet that they've seen. And so I think that is also part of why it's such a special tradition for
Yeah.
us.
And it is, I mean, it is such a magical performance. You're in the holidays, and it just, yeah, I'm just kind of taking myself back to being in the audience and watching that. And it really is very magical. Um, so let's talk a little bit about what makes this ballet so special, because it is really special.
Oh, thank you. Do you mean our version of it? Like what's unique about our version or just the Nutcracker
Just in
in
general, I mean,
general?
okay, because as I'm looking kind of at our talking points about it being a
Yeah.
charming story, the visual, the visual,
Mhm.
component of it too, which all takes, the story, the visual, and then the beautiful dancers. So it's a very,
Yeah, well,
it's a
yeah, I
special
think
time.
um part of that is there is so much just visually entertaining to
Yeah.
see. The dancers, for instance, in act 1, Clara is transported to several different locations, so you see the whole setting change right before your eyes, which is kind of cool. We see the interior of, a beautifully appointed parlor set for a holiday party in the beginning, and then kind of turns into more of a nightmare that Clara
Hmm.
has. And then she's whisked away to the land of snow, which is just such a nice transition. And of course, the snow falls on stage and the dancers are swirling and dancing. So, um, Act 1 is very rewarding in that way. And then I think in Act 2, there are many, many short dances. A lot of those variations, while they are challenging for the dancers, they're only 1 or 2 minutes long, many of them. And so we pack a lot in that little bit of time, but at each one, the costumes change, the music changes, what you're seeing changes. And so it's a lot of short divertisement. And it just keeps it very entertaining and fun. There's just something new and new and new for the audience to see. And then, there's the familiar music that,
Yes, I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
yeah, you know how music can really um, create a feeling, a
Yeah.
memory, and I think that's part of why we relate to the Nutcracker too. The music in of itself is beautiful, but then it just gives you that feeling of the holidays or remembering attending performances or remembering performing, for young dancers that are maybe now audience goers as adults. So,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, because there's you've got many performances at two different venues. So let's talk a little bit about that, where it's starting over in Council Bluffs at the Hoff Center and then coming over to Omaha at the Orpheum. So I'll let you give
yes,
more details
yes.
about that.
Well, so we open actually before
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, the weekend before Thanksgiving. And it's just a nice way to start off the holidays. That will be at the Hoff Family Arts and Culture Center, which is a beautiful facility. It's a little bit more of an intimate setting. And we also have a sensory friendly performance of the Nutcracker on that Sunday, which was created to increase accessibility for
Okay.
people on the autism spectrum. And so there's been
Nice.
a few working in collaboration with Autism Action Partnership. We
Mhm.
made some specific, lots of just little specific accommodations that can help make that show more accessible for people. So
Yeah.
that's been a nice addition. And that's part of our Hoff weekend of performances. And then after Thanksgiving, the first weekend in December, then we will be performing at the Orpheum Theater. And that's when we reach those, 6,000 school students, as well as a whole weekend of performances for the public. And that venue of itself too is just it's gorgeous, and it's just a wonderful setting for the Nutcracker, and it allows us to reach so many people that attend.
Well, we've got about a minute left, and I just want to. So, how many years has American Midwest Ballet, knowing that there was a name change not too long ago? How long have you been performing the Nutcracker?
Well, this is our 13th season.
Yeah.
So it's an annual tradition. We do it every year, with the only exception being, I believe, 2020,
Sure.
which we all
Sure.
remember. Um, but even that year, we shared a virtual performance with everyone in the community. So we really haven't skipped a year
Yeah.
of the Nutcracker. And we also perform it on tour. This year, we'll be going to Spirit Lake, Iowa.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to that as well. When we go on tour, we incorporate local children in whatever community we go to, too. So it will be a very busy Nutcracker season, but we are really looking forward to it, and it's just around the corner.
Yeah. Well, Erica, I know we'll come back after the first of the year and talk more about American Midwest Ballet, just kind of, overall, because you've got then one more performance happening in the spring season, which is the Wizard of Oz, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we'll talk more about that. But again, just knowing, yep, this performance is coming up. And again, it's such a beautiful way to, spend time with your family, have a girls' night out, and just really appreciate just the artistic. These dancers, they're doing this because they're passionate about it. And you, as a dancer, speaking for yourself, I know that, it's a love that you have, and then you
Yeah.
bring that to life on stage.
That's true. The dancers work very hard, but we do this job because we love it, and we love performing for people and sharing that work and that joy and that energy, telling a story, helping transport people to be able to come into the theater, let the lights darken, and just be transported into a whole nother world, a whole nother story. And that's our job, and
Yeah.
that's a cool job to get to do. So we're very excited to be getting to do that with the Nutcracker here coming soon.
All right. So you can find lots of information, or all information, on amballet.org. You can buy tickets there, and a lot of great other information about what you do throughout the year. So Erika, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
And folks, we'll be right back.